Things run together. People fall in love. I guess. Or they were in love. Or they were deceived. Or Space Mom says it's a bad idea and the wedding's off. Or is it? It's time for mumbling plot reveals in our sleep. It's time for the rules of acquisition.
All right. Hello, and welcome to The Rules of Acquisition, a podcast where we are going through every single episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. The great, it's something, ain't it? Anyways, my name is Wade Bowen, and with me, as always, is James Nolan.
We're heading for Venus, and still we stand tall, because maybe they've seen us and welcome us all. Yeah, with so many light years to go and things to be found, I'm sure we'll all miss her so. It's the final countdown.
Do you have like 10 of these banked up?
No, I think that's the last verse. Okay. It was not a 10-verse song, unfortunately.
Well, damn. All right, and also Hugh Crawford.
Hi, I firmly believe Cassidy Yates could do better. Yeah, we're talking about an episode today called Death Do Us Apart. It's episode 18 of season 7. It originally aired April 14th, 1999. Here's IMDb description. The prophets have told Sisko they do not approve of his impending marriage. Having been captured by the Brain, Ezri and Worf still don't know why the Brain would even bother to capture them. Dukat, disguised as Bajorn, sets foot on Deep Space Nine and continues to unfurl his plan.
My least favorite part of this episode. Is the
unfurling of Dukat's plan?
Yeah.
A Nadoy. Yeah, that's...
that's hard. It's pretty hard. I hate calling out Julian's name in her sleep. That might be my most favorite.
That was pretty bad. We took some bad... Like, last week wasn't exactly straight fire, right? Mm-hmm. We all agreed that, right? I mean, I know we didn't put a number on it at the end of the episode because we're not doing that for this... Because this one last arc is just like one thing that mushes together. Mm-hmm. But we all agreed we had like fundamental problems with the direction they were going last week. This week, it's done.
All paid off.
Yeah.
Our trepidations were warranted, or were proved warranted.
Yeah. So last week I was mostly more fine with it than y'all were, but your concerns were merited.
Yeah. Sort of. Yeah. This
episode, I was like, all right, well. You got me on the line just to see where this goes. It was like reading a fucking Dan Brown novel where every chapter ends and I'm like, oh, it's another cliffhanger. Well, okay, I guess I'll read the next chapter. That's kind of like this episode was like, this is a dumb chapter of this book, but you know what? I'm still on the hook. I'm gonna read the next one. Mm-hmm. But like, I was like, oh, I don't like what they're doing to this character.
One of the things that I feel like that a lot of, like, I feel like maybe people aren't, like, what I would like to see is everybody kind of getting in their positions. Because I keep thinking this is the last time I'll be with these people. Mm-hmm. And this is where I think something like Endgame or what the Marvel movies is very, because they always sort of know, at the end of the day, they always ask themselves, what is our character? What is Tony Stark? What is Captain America? And they'll always kind of go back to some sort of foundational thing, that Tony Stark wants to fix the world, or that, Captain America is the guy that I can do this all day, or the guy that falls on the grenade. And you remember that no matter where they go, whatever space adventures and shit that they're on, they sort of ground it back to that, where I don't feel like we're revisiting where our characters came from, that bridge.
We got a bunch of Scarlet Witches and Vision in this. If you're making that illusion.
Well, yeah, or just that but like everybody's kind of out of position. Sisko's a husband and religious religious figure, mm-hmm. and he's not like the in-demand pragmatic captain. He's not that,
right? Because he's dealing with his own dumb plot.
Bashir is not even fucking in this episode where I fucking hate Bashir and that storyline. But everybody's kind of just out of position, and nobody's really in their best foot for the end game. And it is a little bit, I want to see them all together. You know, I'm sure we get that at some point. But
fingers crossed.
It's noticeable that everybody's not at the way we like to see them, their best, you know?
Yeah.
So that's the sort of the strange thing to me where we are. And I have not watched the next episode, so
right. I don't think I have either.
Yeah,
yeah, it's weird. Like, okay, this one, I don't know. Maybe we should just start going through it because I don't know how to talk about this episode other than it's like, like the Kai Winn stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she talking about like not sure what they were doing. Like when you were talking last week about how like they were kind of like felt like they were writing everything in silos. You know, this felt this like, oh, I know exactly what you mean because this episode, you know, like where with the Kai Winn stuff, like, okay, oh, we've got Dukat's gonna just show up and then Kai Winn just shows up because she's like, oh, I heard you're getting married. I know Vedic Telna was going to do it, but I know you really want me to do it. And he's like, I wanted Admiral Hand Sandwich to do it, but now some little girl saw me at the end of last episode and said, oh, what can I be your Deus girl or something? You can only have 51. And so now Kai Winn shows up because it's going to be the biggest wedding Bajor has ever seen. And like, that's great for Bajor and the people that love Bajor so much, but like, some of us are like, well, I want to see Sisko be a fucking Star Trek captain, not a religious figure.
Yeah. And I mean, that is a fun little bit when it's like, oh, yeah, this is going to be, you know, this isn't going to be, this isn't about us. This is about Space Jesus.
And he starts off and then he's like, oh, they told me I can't get married now. My space mom said. Then she's like, oh
yeah,
that's nice. At least you got a vision. They've never given me a vision.
I wouldn't know, as they've never spoken to me directly.
Way to make it all about you, Kai Winn.
Yeah, which, you know, at least that's in character.
Yeah. And it is. I mean, they did need to at some point, I guess, say, even though she has talked, right?
Huh?
Didn't she say she can? I don't know. Anyway, I think at some point she said I consulted an orb or some shit like that in another episode.
I think they've set up before that she's bitter that they don't.
I think they did, and then
even.
Let me see. I think I actually just 1 second. Is there a goofs section here?
Oh yeah. Maybe she did have like an orb experience.
Kai Winn shared that she had never had an orb experience yet in the episode In the Hands of the Prophets, the first one she was in. She says to Sisko, the prophets have shown to me through the orb's emissary.
Oh, so
maybe, I don't know.
So maybe she's had an orb experience.
But they haven't talked to her like they talked to Sisko, and that's a reoccurring problem.
Right.
And they have to say that so that when they do talk to her in a second, you know that's important, I guess.
Right. And then going forward, I don't know, like, is that the prophets that are talking to her, or is that actually the Pirates?
No, I assume you're supposed to think it's the Pirates because it's a two-front thing, because
right.
Dukat comes in, essentially, it's a con.
Right.
The Pirates run in and do the setup. They're the setup man.
Right.
And then he's the payoff.
That's what I guess that's what I'm unclear on. Like, I guess that might be it, but then I wasn't sure, like, because most of the time these plots are so kind of basic cranberry dressing or whatever that, like you said.
Yes, cranberry. Yes.
So the fact that when she just has that vision and there's not like any hint in the vision itself that it's the Paw Race, I was like, okay, are they? I don't know what the show wants me to think it is, if they're trying to trick me or if I'm supposed to be able to figure it out yet or not.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if that was like by design or if it was just unclear.
I think that, I remember enough to know that you're supposed to think that this is all a Paw Wraith.
I mean, I remember enough to know that it eventually turns out to be, but I'm not sure, like, in the moment, if I didn't know.
I think you're supposed to think in the minute that it is.
I think it's hilarious that all three of us have seen all this stuff multiple times. And we're still unclear. They did such a sloppy job deploying their storytelling that we're still unclear what's what after seeing it multiple times. That's the real takeaway here. Not the nuts and bolts of when did what. Like, they've done such a piss poor job of like communicating what when.
Right.
That you're constantly scratching your head and trying to play catch up when you're watching this obvious con unfold or unfurl.
Yeah. And I don't know, and also, like, and this is just something because I'm reading this stuff on Memory Alpha, so I'm not actually here to comment on it, but I know that this is where the plot escalated too quickly.
Oh, yeah.
And they ended up just playing what was supposed to probably stretch. I mean, like, the courtship of, yes, also, they did openly joke about how they all got boners making Nurse Ratched fuck Dukat. Like, that was going to be like a... They all like were giddy, you know. We're
gonna get our two villains. We're all about shipping.
Yeah,
we're gonna ship our villains now. It's gonna ooh.
Yeah, and even though they've already made her fuck a bad guy once,
right,
before,
right.
So
Skeletor.
It's just a yeah. But anyway,
who was the bad guy she fucked before?
Skeletor.
She fucked Franklin. Yeah, Franklin Jones.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man,
she doesn't like a clear skin on a man. I don't know. That's not Kai Winn's type.
Man, all right, okay. Now I gotta drag his look. I don't want to drag the guy for his lupus scars or whatever, but oh boy, okay. I guess I should just shut up. But it's like his wrinkles on his head were better than the fucking prosthetic makeup on his nose. He's got better natural makeup to look than the prosthetics.
Yes.
Like when he's wrinkling his brow later on in some of those scenes, the ridges are as pronounced as the ones on his nose. It's
yes.
I feel like an asshole like making fun of someone's appearance, but
then why are you? like that's what I'm like.
By all accounts, the guy's a creep, anyways.
The actor is.
Oh, is he?
Oh yeah.
Marco Lamo?
Y'all haven't seen the DS9 doc yet.
What? How's he a creep? Is it like a real creep or like?
Oh yeah, he's kind of a real. He's like, oh, you know the reason that I was so good as Dukat being sleazy around Kira was because I really wanted to fuck the visitor, and she's like, oh man, I hated being around him, and they joke. They have a little rapport where they say that to each other's faces, but you can get the sense that like he was kind of like a creepy guy.
That is a huge bummer.
Yeah.
But
she wasn't joking when she says I didn't like being around him on set.
Yeah, you get the sense like she's not entirely joking.
That's a bummer.
Yeah.
Because I was just gonna say, is this really how you want to again, is this how you want to see Dukat in your last hours with Dukat? Like, I like that he's gone on this journey and now he's a Bajoran, religious weirdo, con man.
Right.
But I don't necessarily like it, but it is a journey.
Right.
But you're like, my last hours with him, then he looks like, I don't know, like it's not always a good thing in the minds of the audience, in the hearts of the audience, but there is a desire to see it the way it was before you take me to where you're going at the end, And so it is a little strange that for the last, the culmination of the Dukat storyline, he's like, he's in Bajoran makeup.
Right.
Was, for all intents and purposes, a Bajoran. And it's weird. It's a little weird.
Yeah.
And I that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's something that I'm noticing is that nobody's really, like if in season 5, if you visioned an end game, it probably, nobody's really.
It wasn't Dukat in dress, yeah.
Yeah, with an earring.
Sexing up Kai Ratched. I mean, right. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is everybody where you want them to be, for when you start the story? And so.
Right. Yeah. And now I just feel bad about making fun of his appearance. I feel like a right heel. I'm sorry.
Well, if he's a sex freak, fuck him. I don't know. Like now you really lean on the sex.
Right.
Now you are very invested in him being a sex freak.
But yeah.
So that you don't have to feel bad.
It's it's not right to make fun of Chris Christie for being fat. Make fun of him for being an awful person.
Mm-hmm. Then you can. Yeah. No, I don't know.
So I've chased myself. I'm sorry. Anyways, this episode.
Yeah. So basically, you get this whole storyline where I think that was supposed to be like episode 5 thing is where they start hooking up,
mm-hmm.
and it's episode 2. So like now there's not a lot more road to travel to get them there,
right?
To where they need to be in episode 9 or whatever. So
it's one thing to introduce him to Kai Ratchet as a Bajoran, but then they just
it's weird.
And now, they escalate pretty fast.
Yeah. And it is kind of, it's fun because he's running. It's problematic. And I don't know. I'm not particularly enjoying it, but I do like that it's showing that Dukat is a little bit manipulated because he's using a little bit of the Pa Wraith knowledge, but he's also using a lot of, because he's Dukat and he knew all of this stuff about, he knew that she had bribed this trained person with jewels to whatever. He knew that about her because he had intelligence reports on it as Dukat. And so he gets to deploy that to make a little story for himself to give them a connection. So it is a little bit clever how he's manipulating, whatever.
Yeah, it's a little bit clever, but I still found myself annoyed by how unclear it was. Like, it's like, okay, we know that he knows this stuff, but we also know that he's getting some of his intel from the Pa race.
The Pa race, yeah. Because how else would he know that I'm a man from the land? Is that the trick word that he had to say? Yeah.
Like, okay, so then Damar has like a Wayun wakes up Damar scene where he's like, get your shit together, you drunk. And I know what Dukat's up to. And he's like, what, you knew about Dukat? It's like, yeah, I knew about it.
That's what confused me. Because they basically just said he spent all night fucking a girl, but yet he's in fucking full Kiss makeup, like full Kiss dress, laying in the bed like Gene Simmons with the full fucking shit on. And I'm like, did you sleep in that? Do all Cardassians sleep in their shit?
I
do they fucking it?
Right.
But what gets me is the Dukat part of it was what kind of like, all right, so if you're going to talk, the fact that they didn't explain, like, okay, Wayun's like, okay, I know all about Dukat, but he doesn't say anything like
shake yields.
He doesn't say like, oh, I know about Dukat, I don't care, fine, he's nothing, let him do what he's going to do. He just says, I know, and then they just leave it. Like, they're just like, do a little bit of work to say, oh, we're going to let you play your games with Dukat, he's nothing to us, or say, you have to sneak Dukat out under Wayun's nose, but they don't do any of that. Wayun just says, yeah, I know about that, and then just leaves it. Like,
and it's not because they're not worried about what Dukat can do, because they even say they're going to kill Damar, don't they? They say they're going to kill Damar, so it is like they're changing up. So why would they give him this?
They say they're going to kill Damar?
Don't they?
The changeling?
Yeah.
Yeah, she gives him orders to kill everybody.
Kill off Damar after the Breen. I mean, what you find out at the end is the Breen.
Oh, I thought. Well, she tells Wayun to kill all the other Vorta that are doing the vaccines on the sample to cure the changeling disease.
I thought that was last week.
That was maybe last week. It's like I said, there's all kind of runs together.
Yeah, this is a lot. Yeah.
I didn't catch the part where she says we're gonna kill Damar.
I'm pretty sure she says it while they're on the first time they get on the ship.
Either that or I imagined.
Well, because they're like, he's like, get up.
She says we're getting rid of him. She goes, yes, it's necessary. It's finally time.
Oh, I don't remember.
I trust he won't be a problem.
I'm sure he'll have his concerns, but you needn't worry about that. I'll deal with him when the time comes.
See that you do it.
I thought, because he comes in and says, get up, we're leaving. I know about Dukat, whatever.
This is the scene after that, yeah.
And then, okay, where your loyalty is impressive, if not misplaced and then he looks in the mirror, and that's when Damar says, like, I'm going to fuck these guys or whatever.
Yeah. And Dukat is going by the name Anjo Chili.
And yeah, Angel Tenon or something. Yeah, just it made me mad that Wayun was like, "Oh, I know about that," and didn't.
And nothing came. Yeah,
out.
That was a pretty low effort scene. They didn't even.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they don't want to do Damar's chest, so they can't have him shirtless, which is how that scene should have been shot.
Right.
Because he's drunk and he just fucked, and you're supposed to think he fucked and passed out, and he was probably had his pants around his ankles, and he probably had his shirt off, or at least had his giant 1,000-pound rubber chest armor off, probably. And so there's no but they didn't want to do that, and they didn't give. I mean, it was just a very low effort sort of scene.
And then Dukat says like, "Oh, I have a different destiny than being the leader of Cardassia," because Damar's like, you should be the leader, and he's like, no, I have a different destiny. Like, and so ask about it. Like, he can be cryptic, and they don't have to reveal that he's going to go sex up Kai Winn or anything, but like, nobody asked any questions about what his plan is, which is ridiculous. Like, he's just like, okay, I'll...
It is.
It's like, if Damar should be like, well, what is your destiny? And he's like, oh, that's not for me to tell you. Just trust me. And he's just, okay, yeah, fine.
I think they think that he's crazy and he's just running dumb schemes, right?
Right, I don't know.
That's what they think.
Which is frustrating.
Because they go, what's his scam this time, I think is what Wayne said. That's what he says, yeah. He goes, what's his scam this time? And I think it's that, they probably been following him. They know he had a sex cult. They know he had, all of that kind of shit.
Right.
And so they just, he literally is now just low rent. So it's kind of like, he used to be scary, but now he's not.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, just say a line like, oh, he's nothing to us. We play your stupid games tomorrow. The founders are above all that shit, and he can't do anything to fuck with us anyway.
He's like Newt Gingrich. He used to have a lot of power, but now he's just a scam artist, and who cares?
Right. But they don't. They just say, whatever. And then just that just annoyed me.
Well, you don't want to look like, that's the Dominion's going to have to lose this because of some reason, and they're going to fall on hubris and distraction, and the fact that they... I'm playing your role now, where I'm coming up with some passable excuse for something underwritten. Never mind.
Sure. No, keep going. It's an interesting look on you, James.
This is your job, Wade. No, but you could say that they're just being they're too cocky, and they don't countenance a legitimate threat.
You could say that. I wish they had.
Yeah, that's yes.
Yeah, because it's just like dead in the water. It's like, whatever. We're just moving plot forward, I guess, because it's Weddle and Thompson here.
Yeah, it does take off. It would be nice if there was a little bit more. I don't know. I don't want to make comments on pacing for episodes I haven't rewatched. So I don't,
right.
Yeah,
but it does.
But speaking to this one, it's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But not the most ridiculous plotline in this episode.
Oh no, yeah, this Worf and Ezri plot line. It's okay. They're stuck on a Breen ship.
And so horrible.
There's a mystery. Where's the Breen taking them? And at the end, it all comes together, kind of. But yeah, but it's all about their relationship and
The whole reason why they're on a Breen ship is just to get to the characters to the point where they realize that they shouldn't be together.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But they don't do that through Nora Ephron dialogue to actually hash out their emotions or feelings.
No. They do it through sci-fi shenanigans, bad guy shenanigans.
Yeah, they talk about this is not. They talk about nobody's ever seen a Breen before. What do they look like under those uniforms? I bet they got pretty nice gold bikinis. That's all I know.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're furry.
Is that a Samus reference? They are. Someone on Memory Alpha pointed out that in that one where Kira and Dukat save the daughter, they at one point knock out two Breens and wear their outfits outside.
So
they probably saw their face when they wore those masks.
That's a very good point.
Yes. So Kira and Dukat are maybe the only people that have ever seen the face of a Breen, and they're apparently not talking.
Yeah, right.
I don't know.
Yeah, and the second Empire. In the second Klingon Empire, Chancellor Malja sent the fleet to Breen space, and they never came back.
Yeah, they're trying to play up the Breen because it's they need a reveal. Mm-hmm. They don't want to take the Romulans off the board and move them into the Dominion because I don't know. They did a lot of work to make that happen.
Right.
And so, in several episodes, so they didn't want to do that. So they have to, they can't, they don't have a license to do the Borg or whatever. So they got to basically build up some half-ass race. And so Breens now, there's lots of Breen facts in this episode because they've got to make the reveal. The Breen are now on the, you're I don't even fucking know them.
Breen facts.
Right. Yeah, I don't know her.
Yeah, they got coyote faces or something. I don't know, I don't know. And so they had to sort of build them up over the course of the episode.
They should have, who they should have been. It should have been the Zen Kethy from the end of season 3. But that never. Exactly.
Who are they?
Sisko, there's a war against them, and they're kind of based on a Robert Wolf ripping off a Ringworld alien, but I don't know.
Did you read Ringworld?
No, I read that way back in the day. Robert Wolf talking about Zen Kethy. based on no, never mind.
Am I supposed to remember these people?
No.
I don't remember them at all.
They never showed them, I guess, is the thing. Why they decided to go with the Breen instead.
Oh, well, he was showing us his dream journal,
Yeah.
his fanfic.
Right.
Speaking of dream journals, oh my God, there was like a 5-minute scene where Ezri describes dreams in the most like I think they went to like the library and got a book on the meaning of dreams and just wrote the first paragraph. Oh, yeah. And I was like, oh my God, this is you're giving a monologue about how to interpret a dream.
Yeah, because I'm a counselor. It's my job.
So the audience can deploy that later whenever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's front-loaded stuff.
Oh, right. Like, well...
Yeah.
So, like, the audience could use the knowledge that they learned about the importance of dreams whenever she utters.
My subconscious is telling me that I'm in love with a guy that I haven't had a scene with in 6 weeks.
Right. It's like as I'm running from an ice cave, and it's Breen pulls off his helmet, and it's Julian. So it's like a cave. It's a womb. Oh, I must be... Maybe I'm got...
Oh, my God.
Some repressed emotions I need to confront. It's like, oh, you son of a bitch. Writers. Because
that was
because they fucked. Yeah. So Worf is like, oh, we're back together now. And it's like, yeesh.
Why couldn't they just talk this out? Like, why couldn't this be like, why do they have to like, oh, no, I'm coming out of a dream. I see my brother and Julian's dick. Or no, Jadzia. Alexander!
They gotta recap
why is this?
Too.
Just fucking talk. Yeah. Make these. They're in a prison cell. It's already a bottle episode. This is at the end of it. Your whole point is to make them. You got to make the Breen seem tough, and then you got to give Breen facts, and then you have to make her realize that she's in love with a character that you barely have seen her with.
Except she's not even realize that she's in love with him. It's her subconscious that outs her.
No, well, you don't have to do that. It can be, but that's where the end point you have to get to, and you could just have them talk.
Oh yeah.
Like, that's how writers do things with two-character dramas.
I was describing how this cops out at the end and says, no, that's what we don't have to do. It's basically, it's Kira and Nodo in the closet. Mm-hmm. Like, it's trapped in her mind, so we don't have to explain why she's in love with Julian. She doesn't even realize it. It's subconscious.
Hey guys, do you think that maybe this writer's room has trouble understanding interpersonal relationships and women? What? Because she just...
My jaw just dropped.
Out of the fucking blue, just loves somebody without even really knowing it?
No.
I love you. Kiss me, Julian.
She doesn't have any... You don't have a history with him? Like, literally, I barely can remember... And didn't he at some point he tried to rub her shoulders and hand her a hot toddy? But that was like episode 3. So like I don't remember them together.
It's producer bullshit and unearned. It's the whole reason for hooking her up with Julian is because Julian was a perv for Jadzia in season 1. I think that's it. That's like how they came to that conclusion.
Well, I think this was Irish Stephen Pat. I think Rick Berman gave 2 shits.
Well, I didn't say whose idea it was.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just saying where they got where they got there from.
Well, I think it was Irish Stephen, but yeah. I mean, I don't even have a problem. It's not like I have a problem because I don't like Julian. I don't give a shit. Like, fall in love with whoever you want to.
But you need to earn it.
Yeah, it's like Daenerys Targaryen. You can say, oh, they foreshadowed it. And you go, yeah, but that's not her fucking story. And Ezri's story, we've spent 100 fucking episodes of just Ezri going through, the blockbuster shelf. And at no point she could have been doing any of that shit with Bashir, and some of that would have felt earned.
Yeah.
And then it would be weird that she went and fucked her ex-boyfriend. This is like fucking, if you're going to do this kind of like romance writing, this is basic fucking shit. You get her to a point where she's
This is seriously bungled.
Yeah,
you know what? It's rudimentary shipping is all it is. Like, oh, people like these characters.
Did they have a mandate to have her end up with somebody?
I don't think so. I literally don't think they knew what to do with her.
That's like, I think they just like, oh, we ship characters, and like they have a weird thing about having people end up together, I guess. And they didn't think about it. It's like, oh, the fans like this character, they like this character. Oh, Julian we really should let Julian, since he's been a perv this whole time, find love at the end of the show. Okay, just make it with Dax, I guess. I don't know. I don't like it. It's my least favorite, but yeah.
Yeah, and it's so startlingly out of left field, and
Yeah.
I don't even know. Like, we're barely. I mean, it's just not an investment. So why is this the culmination? I don't know.
Yeah,
it's very weird to me.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's just like bad shipping as far as like, people wanting to, I don't know. Yeah, I don't. It made me mad when she says, "Julian, I love you," and then, it made me mad.
And Ezri now has no sort of personality or drive or desires outside of, like, that's what they're focusing on.
Right.
Her growth is that she's going to have to find the right man. And I'm not saying that fine. Every Kate Bush song is about, like, men. I just have trouble understanding them, and she's great, so I don't know. But
men, they're either talking all the time like Baudet or not at all like you. Or...
Yeah, it's. I mean, she is a Nora Ephron character, and that's fine. But they did no infrastructure to do that. So I love literally. When is the last time? I mean, I'm trying not to be hyperbolic. When's the last? They had a brief scene. But that wasn't romantic. When is the last time they've had a two-person scene, Julian and Ezri? It might be AR 558.
Yeah. Oh, the only time that they've had like bar scenes where the whole gang is together.
Yes.
And they have a quip together or something like with Loss in the Chimera episode.
Not even that weird stuff that you do in serialized shows where it's like, you have the scene with the group, and then at the end you show that Ezri and Julian stayed behind, and then you have Quark say something to O'Brien, "What's going on there?" And he goes, "I don't know, but no good," or something like that, and you drop it. You can at least see that they're living a life outside of the show.
Yeah.
But there's none of that.
The most you get in this one, at the end of the episode, Sisko goes through and says, "Fuck you, Mom, I'm getting married anyways." And Julian says, "I sure wish Ezri and Worf were here."
Too bad Ezri and Worf couldn't be here.
And then that's all you get from his side of that relationship. and O'Brien is like, "Well, I'm sure they got held up somewhere, waka waka," but it's like,
so I really think the serialization isn't the problem here. Them trying to do 10 episodes like in one bite isn't the problem. It's the fact that they had no idea after 7 years what to do with these characters.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, they had, I guess not.
It's because, and I don't know why, it's because
they're still moving.
I don't want to be the guy. Breaking Odo, I don't know.
That was sort of the point of no return for them, wasn't it?
Yeah, because that would be, like, as the ratcheting up of the Dominion War happened, you would want to push Odo front and more in front because he's more important. But when they tried to play a hand, I don't know what happened. We went over that before. And ever since that happened, I felt like this has been pretty aimless emotionally for everyone involved. And so it's just all kind of something that's happening and not something that I feel like the characters are invested in.
Right.
And it's because I have Odo. Odo should be front and center of this whole storyline.
Right.
And his emotional sort of journey and bridging the divide. And so it's
barely in it, yeah. Like, for this arc, for this little mini season here, I think from what I've gotten so far, the main arc of this thing is Sisko, because he's our lead, and this is the second part in his I can't get married. Fuck you, I'm gonna get married.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what bridges this episode. I mean, it's called Till Death Do Us Part.
But
so it's him saying, "I can't get married." And then at the end of it, he's like, "Fuck it, I'm going to get married anyway," which is fine. It's just, this is a boring episode. Like, I'm still here for this, this Dan Brown novel, which hasn't hooked me with the characters in there. But I'm like, all right, I'm hoping this is just like a boring one, that transitional one on the way through. But, we'll see what we get on it.
I mean, I don't even particularly think it's boring. I don't mind the pacing and the plotting, and I don't mind the cliffhanger stuff.
Yeah, the cliffhanger.
I don't mind the page turner aspect of it.
No, I don't. That's what's keeping me invested.
Yeah, the sloppy character work and sort of like everything's so haphazardly thrown together.
Right.
And James detailed last week about how they decided to they decided to work these simultaneously, and that's definitely the fact that they've never done it really before.
Right.
is really showing here.
Yeah, Ronald Moore wrote a script that was the Sisko marriage space bomb love triangle thing.
Oh yeah.
He wrote that script it's called Episode 3. And then he was told that whole storyline was being written by Renee Echevarria and
Weddle
Thompson. And so he had to completely scrap his story and basically write the next story, which then pushed off our,
Yeah.
So it's a domino effect because this was not well paced in the room.
No. Yeah.
Okay,
So
well, we can all agree. We can all agree that ultimately the direction they're going with religion, or what they're trying to say, isn't really that interesting.
I don't think so. I don't think that they have much to say about religion.
Right.
Well, they're talking about like, oh, I have faith, and then I don't like it, and then Kira gets one scene where she's just like, I'm the religious person. And Sisko's trying to confide in her, like he's not happy with what Space Mom's telling him to do.
And she's like, yeah, it'd be like that sometime.
You better listen to your Space Mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was nice to have someone in it because he tells like 3 people,
right?
Doesn't he?
Yeah.
And 2 of them go like, shit, fuck that shit.
Right.
And she's the only one that's like, yeah, well, you gotta not do that.
Right.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
you can't-
Do what the prophets want.
Sucks,
They've never
man.
done you wrong before. It's like, well, there's always a first time. It's like,
They've never done wrong before, and then like do a super cut to him, like like having a fit on the floor of that cave, and then
yes.
you could never done me wrong before. You could how about when they allowed the station to be taken
And
over?
brain kidnapping his mom and then forcing her to carry a
I don't think that Star Trek Deep Space Nine ultimately is going to have anything interesting to say about how religion interacts with people's lives, or just anything interesting in general.
yeah, I mean the religion.
They have religion face on,
Right.
That people have going around talking about faith and what it means to them, but the story itself isn't driving at a point.
Right. Like I don't exactly know. Like his Space Mom says, bad things are going to happen if you get married.
You'll know nothing but sorrow.
You'll know nothing but sorrow.
And his logic is sorrow, bitch. I'll be sorrow. I'll be up in sorrow if I don't marry her.
if I don't have her. So it was like, and then he's like, fuck it, I'll do it anyway. Like, and I don't remember, because I don't remember. I haven't watched the full arc in a while.
I haven't either.
But I don't remember if there's actually anything substantial that you could actually
sort of.
Him getting married doesn't actually seem to be a trigger for anything that makes sense.
Or I'm just like, not even just Sisko. Like,
it's just
how the bad guys are manipulated by the Paul Wraiths. It seems to me that is a opportunity to say something.
They're not. Yeah.
Right, but
they're not.
They used to be bad because of their personal, misguided personal wants and desires, and now they're bad because space con men are,
and their misguided personal wants and desires were interesting, things to examine.
Right,
that's gone now.
Right. I just want to. If she says bad things are going to happen, I want to know why. And
he does too.
He
they even say that.
Well,
he even says that. He screams that at her. Like, I need more specifics.
Yeah.
It's the thing, though, that they're gonna.
I
think, isn't it that he doesn't get to raise his kid?
Right. Something like that.
Isn't that the punishment? Is that he becomes incorporeal, but what they're saying is don't get more attachments or you're going to abandon them. And he gets more attachments and then has to abandon them.
Yeah, maybe that's why Julie
not paying child support. That doesn't sound like fun.
That's why Avery Brooks is like, fuck this show. I'm not doing any of your events anymore. No, I don't know why he's over with it.
But I think that's the punishment, isn't it? Maybe
That's what I'm saying. I don't remember.
I don't remember. Yeah, we'll find out, James. Yeah. We're gonna find out. That's for sure.
Yeah. So it's it is pretty. I have to say at this point, it's pretty low stakes for the end game. It's the worst thing that's happened is an alien race that we've seen once entered into alliance with the space gangsters we haven't seen in a while. So that Sisko pissed off his mom. And I'm not trying to belittle it. But it doesn't. It seems like that there isn't whatever the ball is going to be that that like makes everybody run down the hallway,
Right.
to, red alert or whatever. That hasn't like happened yet, and I just don't I don't know what the stakes are.
Right,
yet.
right.
So obviously they're building to an end game, and I know what the stakes are.
Is the
But-
stakes like free will break your heart? Is that the theme? Is that?
Oh, I know. Yeah, I guess. Or everybody's got a role to play in bigger games.
That's so dumb.
I mean, I don't know what it is. Like,
I can't get on board with any of those two things.
Yeah, like it is strange that Star Trek is a temple of humanism. That's what appealed to me about it.
Right.
And this is strangely non-humanist at the end. That maybe,
Yes.
it's pretty weird.
You really don't have any agency in, the die has been cast, that sort of nonsense.
You have a destiny to play. You need to act in accordance with it instead of create your own, which is kind of weird.
We even talked about little things that they're doing that sort of crush the dream that Roddenberry set forth in Next Generation. She even mentions as having her mom would prefer her to get married by a minister.
Oh, yeah, that was interesting.
Which means there's Jesus people like in the future.
You don't know what kind of minister. It could be an orange Catholic priest. Sorry, that was a Dune reference.
I mean, I think it's. I mean, isn't it? It's kind of an atheist. I mean, it's a humanist atheist society.
But that's what I'm saying. There's Unitarian minister. The minister could be something other. I mean, yes, the connotation and inference is definitely that it's a Protestant
I
minister.
think it's a mistake. I think that they're not.
It's
I don't think they thought about it.
Yeah, I don't think they thought about it either. But there's no
because they would rather ground the stories into relationships that we understand, relationships with culture that we understand, than engage with the culture that Roddenberry set up in Next Generation.
Right. Yeah, I'm saying, but yeah, But my only point was you can't. It's not a given fact that it's definitely like a Jesus Protestant minister. I mean, it probably is, but presume it. But you don't know.
Mm-hmm. You're back to doing it, so that's cool.
That's right. Well, I'm just like minister.
No,
minister could be.
It's not my job anymore.
There's all sorts of ministers. There's
coming up with plausible explanations for something underwritten.
The churches of the sub-genius could be the minister she's talking about.
That is his mutant power, isn't it?
It is your mutant power, Wade.
I guess so. I don't know.
So no, I mean, but yeah. I wasn't trying to be like Ronald Reagan. There you go again. But I guess I was, so I'm sorry.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, where did we end here? The Breen, Worf and Jadzia fuck, or Worf and Ezri are fucked.
Ezri and
Tiamat's prophecy.
Basically,
I guess they have stakes because they're fucked. You know, like that.
Oh yeah, Ezri and with the.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Dumar is, I guess do the Cardassians hate the Breen?
I don't.
Because why was Dumar so taken aback? Like,
we didn't get that much Breen lore deployed.
We needed more Breen facts. We needed more Breen facts.
More Breen facts.
The fact that the Breen kill everybody that comes near them and everything, and they're so like, you don't fuck with the Breen and their hands off. So
don't wait. No, they kidnapped Cardassians, and what was the daughter? They kidnapped Cardassians and forced them to work
on the crash planet they were on because it was so hot in their cold species.
Because that's what it is. Because they can use Cardassians. I mean, that's one engagement, but Cardassians can stand the heat, so they use Cardassian slaves to mine something on a planet.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I think we need more lore.
Right.
They should be probably.
I just assume it's the Breen are big, scary, and they don't talk to anybody. So the fact that they're making a
but it seemed like it was especially galling to Damar, and is there a backstory? Did y'all fuck? Did the Breen and the Cardassians used to fuck? Or I don't know. Like, is there a backstory between you guys?
Yeah.
Why are you so distraught by this?
I just saw him as surprised. He's pissed because they took him away without telling him where he's going. And then he says, so fucking Breen? What the fuck?
Yeah, but why? Wouldn't that be good? I mean, if the Dominion wins the war, Cardassians are going to stop dying. So it seems like, but
yeah.
Like it seemed like he was unpleasantly surprised, not pleasantly surprised.
Oh, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I just saw him as mostly surprised. Maybe he's decided he's going to rebel already or something. I don't. And now I'm overthinking it.
But so yeah.
You guys want to guess what the people of IMDb think of this episode?
Yeah. I
What?
I was just looking at my notes here. No, it's fine. We learn Cassidy Yates' middle name is Danielle, and we knew Sisko's Lafayette. But I just like Kai Winn's like, get the fuck out of here, Sobor. I got a booty call.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, this guy like was literally an extra, and he gets like a fuck ton of lines as his role like grows throughout.
Yeah,
this,
Sobor is one of my favorites. If this went to season 12, the whole season 12 would be about Sobor taking
Sobor
season
is like
control.
the Damar of season 12.
He's my favorite Ranjin out of all of them, which I think I didn't learn until now that I think a Ranjin is whatever is below Vedic, because Kai Winn says she was a Ranjin when she paid Premar to save 100 Bajorans, which turns out to be fake.
With her fancy tabernacle jewels.
Yes.
She goes down to the tabernacle.
Right. And he's like, to tell her that he's going to stay, to trick her into it. He's like, I talked to my brother and these Maba sprouts came up. And she's like, oh, that means your brother can work on the farm and you can stay here and share my bed. Hubba hubba. And it's like, well, he doesn't have a brother, obviously, because he's making it up. Whatever. I can't remember if that comes into play later or not.
He's going to fuck a very...
Yeah.
He's going to fuck a woman who's drawing Social Security.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fine. He can... No, that's cool. Yeah. I mean, they're just... I don't know. Yes, there's going to be a... I like that they're... I mean, I used to like... Could we get a little bit more explanations of how they can fuck, or what's the Bajoran laws on fucking? Religious sort of rights around fucking, but like I like that she goes and gets some dick, man.
Yeah.
I like that.
Good on her. And
She likes that grayscale.
and then it ends with the wedding, and Kira is like being a sad sack piece of shit, and Odo gets his one line to just like joke around like, well, I hope the prophets forgive them for letting Admiral Ham Sandwich do it instead of Akai. And she's like, this ain't funny. And
I like that Nurse Ratched doesn't. She's got a type, and her type is that she wants to fuck the child molesting preacher from Grapes of Wrath. The John Barrymore character. She wants to fuck John Barrymore, and she's looking all throughout the galaxy for Bajorans that look like John Barrymore, and it works.
Yep. And then the wedding vows go, not until death do you part, but until death separates you. And with this ring, he has a vision. And with this ring, my mom is pissed. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Fuck it anyway. So he will know. Now he will be the man of constant sorrow.
Right.
He'll know trouble all his days.
Yeah. And Worf is mad at Ezri, and it's bad. And then there I get to
misreading the signals. Worf is there again, so he cucks himself with, I thought we were going to live together forever again. I thought I was getting to fuck 2 Daxes.
Yeah.
And
the big mystery of, oh my God, where are the Breen taking them? Which we probably figured out because we can put things together. And then oh my God, they were being delivered because there's going to be a big treaty with the Breen now, and that's going to tip the scales of the war, and that's bad news for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
What happens next? Check out the next chapter of the Da Vinci Code.
So yeah, this is
All right, what do you guys want to guess?
This one's going to be lower than last week. It's going to be I'm going to 6.8. It's probably too low, sadly.
Well, then change it if you think it's going to be too low.
Nope. Nope. It's going with my gut.
You're sticking with 6.8?
That's right.
All right.
7.2.
It's actually a tick higher. It's 7.6.
Damn. It's a tick higher than last time?
Yeah, 7.5 was last week. It's 7.6 this week.
Wow.
People like a wedding. People like
she's not wearing her jacket in this episode either.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Okay, yep, there you go.
So next week is what, James?
She is she is distractingly pretty, and times I get that.
I get it.
Yeah. So yes, next week I think it's they're going to kill him.
Oh yeah. And
that's what's happening.
All right.
And then
the Netflix description said something about the Brain going after
The Dominion and the Breen negotiate an alliance. Ezri and Worf are sentenced to death.
Okay, yeah.
They hang upside down. That sounds fun.
That sounds fun.
They're like, they like in The Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that is cool. Yeah. Well, do we have any other bit of business before we sign off?
Oh, I guess I can tell everybody give everybody the business that I give them every week. Give us a call if you want. 917-408-3898. Would love to hear from you before this show ends, I guess, if you want to do that. So do that. Check us out at Twitter and all the other places, but also come join us on the Patreon at patreon.com/kickersofelves, where we have a bunch of bonus content, and we could use your support for the show and going forward and give you something for it. All right, yeah. Do all the things every other podcast wants you to do.
All right. Well,
but for us, not for them. I mean, fuck other podcasts.
Oh, yeah. No, I thought that was implied, but if it wasn't,
I don't know. You got to lay it out for people sometimes.
You're right. I've been doing it wrong this whole time. That's what's been holding you back. I've been telling y'all to do stuff, and you've been doing it for all those other podcasts.
That's why I don't have those jewels from the tabernacle.
Yeah.
I don't got tabernacle jewel money.
I don't even have Lego money.
Need it. Sorry. From the Lego tabernacle.
All right. On that note, thanks again for joining us. 3 to beam out.
Alrighty.
Kiss me. Kiss me, Julia.
All running together. The past, the future, what has been seen and what can't be unseen. Will the future equal the remembered past? Who knows? Check out the Patreon to hear about Good Omens or some other shit these guys watched on a streaming service. Or Dune or Watchmen or so much else.